The Zanu Pf primaries are on, and what a fight we have on our hands. It seems everyone wants to be a Zanu Pf MP. 1,302 people are vying to be Zanu members of parliament. Another 6,000 have applied for the right to run as councillor. There are all types of people on the list of aspiring candidates. First, so many business people are running. Port Trust Chairman Ozias Bhutin, Grain Millers Association boss Tafadzo Msalala, and others. Some more respected names on the list too. There's Obadiah Moyo, CEO of Chitungiza Hospital. He's highly regarded. Kalisto Jokonya, former CZI president. He's in there too. Former ENG director Gilbert Mponda is in there as well. Also, they even have a diversity of racial groups this time. This is welcome for inclusivity. Until now, it was rare to see Zimbabweans of Asian origin gunning for office. There are quite a few this year. The likes of Mihan Sohail, who owns some fabric shops. He wants to be MP for Warren Park, which covers Belvedere. Who would even imagine that we'd see a couple of white farmers running for a Zanu Pf ticket? We're still looking into this guy to see if there's any relation with former Vice President of the United States, Dick Cheney. There's a lot of drama to look out for too. For instance, it's round 2 between Terence Mukupe and Mavis Gumbo in Harare East. Gumbo was forced to withdraw before the by-election in 2015. She's back in the race this time. What about all the family situations we are seeing? Themba Mliso was an independent in Norton, but his sister Mary is running in Hurungwe West against Keith Guja, who Themba once ran against. He's gone there to help her campaign. Then we have Marian Chombo. She's the former Women's League boss on Maim Juru's party, and now she's on a Zanu Pf list. Meanwhile, her once powerful ex-husband Ignatius is at home waiting for his corruption trial to start. This life would truly humble you. And then there's Morgan Changirai's sister-in-law, Rujeko. She wants to run for Zanu Pf in St. Mary's. I guess she declined to chant Chisa Bama Chisa. There's just so much going on. We're seeing a lot of young people running too. Check out the race in Hatfield. It's Josie Mahachi, a businesswoman, versus Paidanya Makanga, a PR specialist. This is new for Zanu Pf. But what does this all really mean? Does it mean that Zanu is changing? Is it more open to newcomers? Well, number one, a lot of the young candidates are running for seats in urban areas. It will be hard for them to win. Harare, Gweru, Mutare, Bulawayo all went red in 2013. Number two, looking at a lot of these posters, it's clear a lot of these people don't know what the job of an MP is. And speaking of posters, this one is my favorite yet. Igwe Power. Check out the crocodile on that chap's shoulder. Now, an MP's real job is to make laws. An MP is there to represent your interests in Parliament. That's their job. But MPs have had to do things that government wasn't doing. Stuff like providing food or even building roads and bridges. Now people think this is what being an MP is all about. So this means you need to spend big to be an MP. Or forget it. Voters expect their MPs to pay for their school fees, to give them fertilizer, to buy them beer and food. This is how our Parliament ends up with not so clean characters trying to be our MPs on both sides of the aisle. They're seeing this not as a chance to serve. For a lot of these guys, being an MP is a shelter. They're thinking, if I'm at the National Assembly, nobody's coming after me. I become untouchable. This culture needs to change. But ask yourself, who doesn't want to be MP? It comes with good perks. You get good allowances, you stay at hotels at taxpayers' expense, you import cars duty-free, people start calling you honorable. Being an MP opens up a lot of doors. I get it. It's important to have good quality MPs because remember, this is the pool that a president picks most of his ministers. So if you have dirty MPs, you're going to have dirty ministers. If you have dirty ministers, you're going to have a dirty government. And no dirty minister is ever going to fight corruption. Yes, there are a lot of good guys on this list. But there's also a lot of guys who aren't too clean. And if they are to win in the primaries, don't be surprised. Why? Not because they have a solid agenda for Parliament, but just because they can buy beer for everyone at Township. Unfortunately, that's just how it is. And not everyone in Zanu Pf is happy with this list. Some Zanu Pf supporters have protested party headquarters. Some of the people they wanted to be on the list are not there. Some CVs have disappeared. Some were disqualified. And we even saw clashes in Mash West. Some Zanu Pf supporters are even so angry that they are threatening to vote for the MDC. Does this look good for the opposition? Well, the opposition has to be careful here. We all know how Zanu Pf works. These guys will fight each other. They will tear each other apart. But when they come up against the opposition, they close ranks. They fight as a unit. Plus, they're the only visible party branding-wise throughout the country. Everywhere you turn now, there's a Zanu Pf billboard. Now that we have seen the Zanu Pf candidates, we now wait to see what the MDC comes up with. Are their candidates going to be better? Well, time will tell. So while the opposition should watch these primaries closely, At least Zanu can rest assured that they are not fighting over party names and logos just 3 months before an election. The mdc-t has a lot to deal with right now. After Kupe and others were fired from the mdc-t, Chamisa's party went to court. They wanted the court to tell Kupe to stop using the mdc-t name and logo. Well, the mdc-t didn't get exactly what they wanted. Of course, the Kupe side took this as a victory. They actually celebrated outside the courtroom. We even saw some newspapers saying that Chamisa had lost the legitimacy battle. But that's not really what happened. It's not what the judge said. This is what Judge Bela actually said. It is not clear as to which mdc-t is the correct one, and I cannot make a determination on the matter. This can only be made by an arbitration court. So simply what the judge is saying is this. Look, I can't stop Kupe from using the name mdc-t or the logos until it's decided who the real mdc-t is. Of course, the Chamisa faction wasn't too happy about this. They went in hard on the judge. They called it a political ruling. State security was blamed. The usual. Just last week, they had tried and failed to get the court to stop Kupe's Congress in Bulawayo. So you can understand why Chamisa's mdc-t is angry. What's important is what happens now. For Chamisa's faction, they need to start thinking harder about this issue. They must prepare for the worst in case something bad goes down. They are saying the Kupe ruling doesn't matter, doesn't change anything. But in truth, it's a warning sign. Yes, Chamisa is far more popular than Kupe, hands down. But think about it. What would happen if the court says Kupe is the true leader of the mdc-t? And if this happens just on the eve of elections, what would happen then? Remember, ZEC has already said that it's not taking any sides in this matter. In fact, ZEC did Chamisa a favor. They wrote to Chamisa's party and warned that if this is not sorted out, it might be a problem in the elections. And voters aren't stupid. They know who they want to vote for. But this is an election where every single vote must count. Some voters might be confused, and Zanu Pf will be there to take advantage. Already, some voters don't even know what the MDC alliance really is. There's a crisis of party identity. Some party members are calling for the mdc-t to go back to its original name, the MDC. Some are calling for BT and Welshman's parties to fold, and the alliance becomes a substantive party. As for Kupe's mdc-t, we're still trying to figure out what's going on over there. One day, Linda Masadira saying Chamisa is the right man for State House. Let's read her tweet. I've been asked countless times who I am voting for in the 2018 elections. My vote for presidency is Nelson Chamisa. He's the best man for the job. The next day, she's Kupe's spokesperson. As we keep telling you, Zim politics will truly make you dizzy.